So, because we are at an open science conference, I thought I should start with saying something about the open science movement. So, because it's strictly related to what we do in Blue Cloud. So, from one side, it is promising to revolutionize the way research is conducted, with the goal to make it more solid, more fair, and democratic. But if we, it is destined to remain a wish if it's not supported by changes in culture, practices, and enabling technologies. Nowadays and today's, the practices is basically this one. I mean, and not only this one. So the researcher writes the paper, and if we are lucky, they deposit their code and the data sets that was used in their research in an open access repository, such as, for instance, Node or anything else. So this is great. If you do that, this is great. I've attended a workshop before, and the presenter was asking who is doing this, and not everyone is doing this, but if you do this, it's great. It is external to the research place, so it may be slow and complex to reuse, collaborate, and evaluate results in doing so. So in Blue Cloud, we work in a particular context, in a particular research context. We do data-driven research, so the researchers in Blue Cloud, they do data-driven research, and they have at their disposal an e-infrastructure, and we will see which is the infrastructure. So if you are in this context, you may have a different approach to the scientific communication, because in Blue Cloud we basically provide the users, the researchers, with access to the direct place where the research activities is performed. So in Blue Cloud, we do this sort of paradigm shift. We couple the place where the research is conducted, is carried out, with the place where the research is activity is published and immediately communicated. And let me show you how. So, because of this data-driven and e-infrastructure research context, the VRE provides 4 main services that are available to any virtual laboratory that can be built on top of the VRE. So you have, for instance, a shared cloud storage service for collecting your data and make it available for processing. You have a number of data analytics tools to process this data. You can import your models, you can process your data. Then you have the possibility to publish them within the virtual laboratory, within the VRE, so that they are immediately available to others. And then you have a communication platform to help collaborate researchers on the specific research challenge. So we did publish this a while ago, before the pandemic, in a paper called Enacting Open Science by D4Science. Not to be confused with 4Science that I've seen in this conference. D4Science is another thing. So let me just give you a brief overview of what D4Science is. So it is an infrastructure, a data infrastructure service that leverage on external systems, data storage services, hardware resources. The added value is that it exposes all these resources in a unified, uniform space, and it has allowed the creation of virtual laboratories on top of this. D4Science is owned and managed by CNR, my institute, and especially my institute. and it supports as free research infrastructures, national and European projects, and national and European initiatives. There is a plan for growing and evolution up to December 24. And sorry, I need to go back. Yes. So if you see in this slide, we have the external system on the bottom. We have different science that is able to provide this uniform resource base of data and services, and the possibility to create virtual labs that exploit this data. And Lookout in this context basically is this cone here. So it gets a subset of the resources of different science. So if we look what's inside here, we can see something like this. Not this was okay. So we have let's say a number of resource providers. Then we have a number of services that we call enabling services. And then we have the 4 VRE services that I've talked about before. So we have the cloud storage for collecting and storing the data so that they are made available for others. We have the analytics processing tools so that you can import your models and execute it in the platform. You can publish them in a dedicated metadata catalog where you can specify your own set of metadata schema that you want to support, and you have the communication framework. And on top of this, we can build virtual laboratories. So the ones that have been presented by Patricia and by Marilu before. And the virtual laboratories have access, of course, they have a web user interface. I have a few slides on this, and they can also be accessed via programmatic access via APIs. So this is the main, access point to the Lookout VRE. So you log in and you see a number of services that are available. You see you have access to the demonstrator and virtual laboratories that are used in Lookout. In Lookout, we also use virtual labs for the management of project, because in the end we use the communication tool for communicating. We use the shared cloud storage for exchanging the files. We don't do the analytical part but the analytical part are performed by researchers within the virtual laboratory. So let me show you very quickly how it looks. So this is just an example. So you have a communication part that is based on the social, media facilities. So you can post, you can comment, you can like. And then on the top, you have a number of the tools that have been chosen by the virtual lab members that will be useful for their research. In this case, they have chosen RStudio, Jupyter Lab, and the analytics engine. Of course, when they perform some activity, they can import their model, they can process. They have the catalog to publish the result of the research. And here you can see a small widget showing the shared folder that is accessible to all the members of the virtual lab. So just this is just a quick sneak on the way that you can publish an item. So you have to fill in a form, of course, but you can decide the metadata schema in which you want to publish in. And I want to close this presentation with making an actual example to give you a flavor of what can happen in a Lookout virtual laboratory. So you have the 4 VRE services here, and you have this prototypical and simplified workflow that I'm going to explain. So there is Dr. Pink. He arrives with a research challenge and communicate the research challenge to the others. So the others Dr. Brew and Dr. Brown, they like the research challenge, and they start the data collection phase of the research workflow. So they put and they make available their data set by using the shared cloud storage service of the VRE. Then Dr. Pink and Dr. Brew, they import their models and they exploit the analytical VRE service to execute their model with the, let's say, computing capacities that is available in the virtual lab, thanks to the VRE. When they arrive to some result, they can publish something. They can start the publication. This is not the final publication. It's just, let's say, either a preprint or they generated some data sets that they think they are useful. So what happens is that Mr. White, he can start the assessment ongoing while the research is actually being performed. So as early as possible, they publish as early as possible, and the assessment is ongoing and continuously. So what happens here? It happens that all this, let's say, scientific workflow can happen well before the paper about this research challenge, this research activity is published. Okay? So what do we do in Blue Cloud? What we want to do? We just to sum up, what we do is we make the Publishing Act an easy, comprehensive, lossless, and holistic task where owners can retake the credit. We enable the reusability of the research outputs. This is very important because what you saw, and I hope you saw before, in the example before, we are not publishing the paper about the research. We are publishing the virtual laboratory that was used to perform that research. So a reviewer or a referee to assess your research can enter the virtual laboratory, he can access the data, he can execute your models, maybe validating your parameters, and can do the assessment straight away from the virtual lab. And of course, this is also possible by the making use of digital technologies and collaborative tools. And this is it. Thank you.